hands at heart center. Connecting with your breath. You most certainly do not need to be sitting on the floor. You can be seated on a chair if that works for you better. And we're going to invite a 3-part inhalation. And each part of that inhale will have its own beautiful movement with the arms, just inviting and opening through the chest. So we'll inhale 1, bring the arms forward. Inhale 2, bring the arms wide. And inhale 3, bring the arms bent overhead. As you exhale, flip the palm of your left hand, bring it down beside you. If you're on a chair, just grab the chair. And with your next breath, lengthen through side body and open your heart toward the ceiling. Nice big smile here. Take a few breaths and then alternate sides. Back to center. And exhale, hands back to the heart. So inhale 1, inhale 2, inhale 3, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Inhale 1, inhale 2, inhale 3, and exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And the heart really supports everything. So I do like to bring a little bit of the fire element into the metal practice. It's where our soul resides. It's where your true self is, both from the Ayurvedic and the TCM perspective. It's the house or the seat of Shakti. So just take a moment to connect with your heart. Maybe that movement created a little bit of heat in that area. Imagine breathing into that as though stoking a fire. And we're going to start by creating a little movement through the wrists. You can do the arms separately, or you can take the palms together. And just go through some movements with the hands near one another. We just want to take the wrists through their full rotation and stretch. So just play around with that. And we're going to take each hand individually, pulling back one finger at a time. If you find a finger or two that feels particularly juicy, I do invite you to go back there, maybe pause the video for a little bit. Just gently move through each arm. And again, roll the wrists out. Take a little time to roll through the neck. Still allowing your breath to roll warmly through the chest. Allowing the chest to roll more open, shoulders drawing wide. And we can take the TheraBand. If you don't have a TheraBand handy, a scarf or a strap or even a belt will do. We're going to bring it back behind the body, holding with both of our hands. Bring the arms back behind the torso and just reach back. Let the chest roll and open. You're actually going to get in a lot deeper if the fists are apart versus clutching the hands together. So just allow your chest to roll open. Let your thumbs roll down towards the floor as the shoulders draw back. A nice gentle lift through the chest and chin, and breathe into heart center. And gently release. If you are seated on the floor, as I am right now, I'd like you to take a moment, just gently switch your legs so that we're not ironing in any bad habits. It's always good to do things equally on both sides. Okay, we're going to continue with that strap. So bring the arms up overhead, clasping the palms away from one another. Lift up and out of the shoulder girdle, and we're going to start to stretch the hands away from one another as you bring the arms back down towards the floor. Keeping the shoulders wrapped back, and just follow your breath, letting shoulders open and release at the same time. Swivel the fists forward so that pinky finger shines out as you draw up, and then swivel out as you draw back down. So this is very strengthening for that large intestine meridian. Let's start to draw this arm towards the floor, rooting through the palm, and utilize that tension through the strap to stretch deeply through the shoulder. And then keep that length. We're going to alternate sides here. And bring back. We'll keep the shoulders wrapped. Bring hands into heart center. Feeling the sensation of giving yourself a hug. And with your next inhale breath, push out through the palms. Stretch out. Keep the fingertips pointing high. Elbows come through, back to center. And And one last time, this time bring the arms through. And we want to get this onto the back of the wrist. Keep the elbows secured. You might have to find a way to anchor this. There we go, that's better. So that you're clutching your elbows. And we're going to bring the arms wide. So inviting a strengthening as we push back. Elbows in, fist pushing back behind us. And push out. And open, find that place of sensation and stay a while. Breathe in. What I love about this practice is it has such a strong physiological, tangible effect. When I open my chest and I increase my capacity to breathe, everything shifts. If I'm able to inhale fully, that has an immediate effect on my nervous system and my mental health. So I think you can even start to feel benefits as you're practicing this. What I'd like to do is to continue opening the chest. We're going to start with our back bending prop. If you don't have one of these at home, I suggest just starting with something fairly gentle and small, like a rolled yoga mat or a rolled towel. If you have a foam roller, that's a little more challenging, but that can be helpful as well. We're going to turn sideways or lengthwise onto the yoga mat here and just bring this prop back for me. And all we're really trying to do here is create a little opening through our thoracic spine. So that's the more flat part of the back that connects to your rib cage. So getting yourself lined up, and we're going to start by bringing the arms up and overhead. If you feel like there's a little bit too much sensation underneath your neck, take a block, placing it under your head. We just want to invite an opening through that thoracic spine. If your arms are starting to draw apart, you can use your yoga strap just to keep yourself in alignment. And hopefully I won't lose my chair too much more. Sometimes I put a yoga blanket over this as well so that my back is supported. So let's drop back into the pose and stay a while. Inviting ease into the chest. come out of the pose, gently start by rolling the chin towards the chest, protecting the neck, drawing the arms up, and then rolling back off the floor. So we'll just take this off our mats. There we go. And next we're going to play just with the yoga wheel just to get a little bit of a different sensation. So lining it up and rolling up. So just placing the wheel along the spine and taking a little time to find the placement between the shoulder blades and into the thoracic vertebrae. And when you feel steady and stable, if it's comfortable for you, bring the arms up and overhead. If you're using a prop at home, the big difference here would be that in the first pose, you'll have your yoga mat or what have you in a horizontal position under the thoracic spine. And in this posture, we will be placing the yoga mat in more a vertical position along the spine. So just draping and allowing space to melt in between the spinal vertebrae. You can take your time here, spending as much time as you need. Just staying connected with the breath. And when you feel ready to come out of the pose, leading with the neck, then the arms, then using your core to come out of the posture. Let's turn over now, coming onto the mat. So if you are doing this series seated on a chair, if you have a table nearby or a coffee table or something like that, still from a seated position on your chair, you can bring your elbows, placing them onto a table surface. You can use a stool if you're kneeling on the floor, or you can also use yoga blocks from the floor as well. And what we're going to do is place a block between our hands and bring our elbows onto the table or the stool. And we want to rock back enough so that we have space for our head to drop through the arms. And that's a little difficult to do with this headset, so forgive me as I modify things. We're just going to stay here a little while, opening up through the back of the arm, in particular getting into the triceps. And gently coming up and through. If you're using a chair today, you might want to sit adjacent to the wall. And we're going to line ourselves up so that our arm that's closest to the wall is flipping so the palm touches the wall. And we want to get fairly close. And we want to turn ourselves, bringing the arm comfortably so that the shoulder is kissing the wall, and we might need to push up and just draw our chest away, create a little space, and open. So just using the wall to create space along the front of the arm, standing tall and looking forward. And as we play with this pose, you might want to begin with different angles, just starting to walk your arm up along the mat. Keep finding different places of sensation. Letting everything release. You can also come a little bit deeper by bending the elbow and just allowing the pose to sink into the front of the chest. And we'll take a moment setting ourselves up to work on the opposite side. If you prefer to access this from the floor, instead of using the wall, you'll come down lying onto your stomach. And just as we were doing with the wall, we extend the arm out, we roll to the side, and we're just going to take our time finding those places of sensation. You might need to take your top leg and draw it back a little bit so that you're getting a little more opening, and just stay a while. Sometimes you might need to come out of the pose a little bit when you're on the floor for repositioning your arm. especially if you find an area that's quite tense. Just taking your time to work through the posture, letting everything open and release. And when you're ready, gently come out of the pose. Taking a moment to connect with your breath. Letting your awareness rest on your inhale. We're going to focus on some chest opening. So I'll show you the way to do it from the floor first, and then I'll give you some chair variations. If you're down on the floor with me, you can begin by just sliding the elbows forward and letting the chest roll back. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. If you need a little more sensation, place the palms so that they are underneath the shoulders, and you can roll up, coming into more of an up dog open. And exhale. Open. And exhale. Open. And exhale. You can stay with that flow for a little bit. I'd like to demonstrate how we can do this with our stool. So from a seated position, hands resting onto the knees, we inhale, open the chest. Exhale, round the back. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to start to open a little bit more along the front. So using your wall and a stool, I'll show the second variation on the floor in just a moment. We can come from a seated posture, and we're actually going to bring our thumbs together. Knees are touching the wall. Reach the palms up, bring the arms through, and allow your forehead to kiss the wall. If you need more sensation, bring the knees further back and allow your heart to open. You might find that the armpits start to drop towards the wall and the chin can roll, opening to the mat, or excuse me, to the wall. So this is a version of Anahatasana, or heart opening pose. Staying for a few breaths, bring the arms back behind the body, interlace the fingers or grabbing your strap, and open the chest. And for those of you practicing on the floor, we're looking at the same series, just from a different perspective. So coming down, knees are on the mat. We walk the arms forward, coming down into Anahatasana, so sliding the arms forward. And we're allowing the chest to sink towards the floor, bringing the chin forward. And staying with the breath. We can slide forward, coming down into locust pose. Getting ourselves set up, toes together, ribs away from the pelvis, arms behind the spine, either interlaced or just free back. And open. Take a moment here, pressing up. And let's come back into a seated position. So getting ourselves set up in a nice, comfortable seat. And taking some time to connect with the breath. Let that inhale roll into the sides of the ribs. Into the sides of the waist. The back of the ribs. Returning to that place where you can smile. Returning to heart center. Namaste.